Decades.
Mr. President, who told you that information was not classified?
Another question.
Which of your national
Please,
security
go ahead.
advisors
Just following up on your comments on the economy, there is
Decades.
He just doesn't answer. Yeah, Brian's right. People should just keep asking the same question then until they get kicked out. Apparently, these are prior statements of all the involved officials on classified information.
Nobody was texting war plans.
Senior members of Donald Trump's cabinet have been involved in a serious security breach while discussing secret military plans, allegedly secret.
President, put lives at risk, and you can get people killed when you do that. Both the president, Hillary Clinton, if there was anyone other than Hillary Clinton, they would be in jail right now. This is a real deal, full-blown national security scandal.
She was less than truthful about it repeatedly. And it goes to the issue of both competence and credibility. It is irresponsible for an elected official in her capacity to be discussing highly sensitive things on a format that she had to have known was not fully secured.
I think it's why many of us felt that there should have been a prosecution started with respect to Hillary Clinton regarding classified emails.
When you have the Clinton emails, when you have the fact that the sitting national security advisor right now, Jake Sullivan, was sending and laundering classified documents into an unclassified server, on top of the fact that the sitting president of the United States admitted he had documents in his garage that you're going in and out of.
Thank you. This should happen. They're going to say no, but it needs to happen. Getting a no is important rather than just not even requesting it. I saw this. Representative Dan Goldman, Democrat from New York, is preparing to send a letter to Attorney General Pam Bondi requesting that a special counsel be appointed to investigate the incident involving top Trump administration national security officials accidentally adding a journalist to discussions of military operations. This should be a special counsel appointment, but I seriously doubt it. But hey, maybe they'll do it. Or maybe they'll at least find like the most hack Republican job they possibly can to do a special investigation on it. But tapping the sign. New right-wing thing is describing crimes as generically as possible to pretend like they're not crimes. Someone gets convicted of conspiracy and they start yelling, wow, so it's illegal to make plans with friends now.
Jeffrey.
Oh God, who's this guy? I hate this guy. Fuck, I forgot his name. What's this guy? Josh Hawley. Oh, senator from Missouri. There are a few people, him, Jim Jordan. God, I hate Jim Jordan. When you see them, you know you're about to hear the dumbest, most sweep, insane fucking hack statements, the most politically partisan bullshit you've ever heard in your entire fucking life. Here we go.
Senator Hawley, I'll just read part of this piece in The Atlantic. The world found out shortly before 2 p.m. Eastern on March 15th that the U.S. was bombing Houthi targets across Yemen. And this reporter, Jeffrey Goldberg, writes that I, however, knew 2 hours before the first bombs exploded that the attack might be coming. The reason I knew this is that, again, this is the article in The Atlantic, that Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, had texted me the war plan at 11:44 a.m. The plan included precise information about weapons packages, targets, and timing. Senator, your reaction to this?
Well, I thought what the Secretary of Defense just said, Laura, was an outstanding statement. And listen, I mean, we don't know how much of this is accurate or not, but it looks like even if everything the Atlantic reported is true, it's the president's advisors discussing among themselves options they might recommend to the president. And nobody can...
How long has he been a senator for?
Senator Hawley,
July 3rd, 2019. Okay, fine. I wonder if he ever made... What did he do before? Did he ever make Hillary email statements? Let's see. We've got Jesse Waters talking about this.
Did you ever try to start a group text? You're adding people and you accidentally add the wrong person. All of a sudden, your Aunt Mary knows all your raunchy plans for the bachelor party. Well, that kind of happened today with the Trump administration. Mike Waltz was putting together a group chat on Signal, an encrypted app, with the Secretary of Defense, the VP, and a bunch of other national security officials to collaborate on whether to strike Iranian proxies in Yemen who keep firing missiles and shutting down shipping. Well, National Security Advisor Mike Waltz accidentally added a reporter to the group text, and not a good reporter. Jeffrey Goldberg from The Atlantic, one of the biggest hoax artists around. Well, he heard some things he probably shouldn't have, but could have been a wee bit of a security breach. But it's not like they homebrewed a server and then bleached it or kept classified documents in their garages next to their Corvette. I'm sure it won't happen again.
Jesus.
Minority Leader Schumer has called for an investigation into how this could have happened. Would you support one?
Well, listen, it doesn't surprise me that Chuck Schumer's immediate response is engage in political attacks. That's that.
How many fucking impeachment hearing things did they try to have for Biden? How many years was Hunter Biden investigated? How many different times did they try to investigate the Clintons for years and years until Ken Starr finally came up with the Monica Lewinsky stuff that was completely unrelated for anything he was originally looking for years and years related to emails and Benghazi for Hillary for how many times have they said like Obama is a fucking war criminal needs to be investigated for a drone strike? How many times have they for the what was it? Did we bring up Hillary's emails? Like there are so many things they've and they're like you guys want to investigate us for a little? Oh wow, really? Oh come on, guys.
Listen, it doesn't surprise me that Chuck Schumer's immediate response is engage in political attacks. That's apparently all the Democrats are about today is political attacks, and Schumer has a real incentive to do that.
Good job, Schumer. Look at all that respect you got, Schumer, as you walk away with fucking Republicum leaking out of your fucking ass and mouth. Look at you. Good job, Schumer. You sure did a great job, man.
Because his left flank, he's got AOC threatening to primary him right now, and he's worried about his left flank. I got to say, I'm curious why Schumer and the Democrats are not concerned about the fact that for the last 4 years, the Houthis have been allowed to engage in terrorism against America, against America's allies, to drive up costs for consumers. Look, that terrorism makes shipping through the Suez Canal much, much more expensive, which means Americans, when you go to the grocery store and department store, you're paying more money because Joe Biden and the Democrats were not willing to stand up and defend America.
Wait. So cost of goods wasn't because of monetary policy or printing more money or any of the legislation, but it was because of the Houthi stuff? Or maybe it just means it was a contributing factor, but okay.
President Trump is being vigorous going after the Houthis in his direction. And actually, I read through that the whole Jeffrey Goldberg article. His direction, the president's direction, was open up these shipping lanes. That's good for America. And it raises a natural question. Why didn't Joe Biden and the Democrats do that over the 4 years they were in office?
Well, they literally did bomb them. We literally saw it happening. It was literally happening, but okay.
Just one more question about that Jeffrey Goldberg article, and we'll move on. You were obviously fiercely critical of Hillary Clinton and her handling of classified information on a private email server, calling it grossly negligent. If we were on your podcast, The Verdict with Ted Cruz, would you call this grossly negligent?
Please just find a way to pivot and just only talk about Hillary. Come on, you can do it.
Well, listen, it was clearly a screw-up. It was obvious that including Jeffrey Goldberg was inadvertent, and that was a mess.
Oh, never mind. Or just like fucking sweep harder than you've ever swept in your entire life. Oh, my God. It was a screw-up. I like how the reframe, they must have, the RNC or the RNCC or whatever, they must do like communications. Like, listen, we have to admit that they did make a mistake. Okay, guys? We're going to admit that. But the mistake was just adding the journalist. Okay? That was the mistake, guys. That's it. That's all you give on. This reframing is so fucking stupid.
It was clearly a screw-up. It was obvious that including Jeffrey Goldberg was inadvertent, and that was a mess, and an embarrassing mess. But I will say there's a big difference in that immediately the Trump White House took responsibility. They said this was genuine, this was a real exchange.
Did they even? What did Trump put out a statement, or did they put out a statement saying that? I mean, this was after. It was like fucking undeniable. Hello, the guy knew attacks that were happening like beforehand. Destiny, why do they focus on the content? Why don't they focus on the content and just the reporter? It's an ad hominem, literally. It's to try to say, oh, this Jeffrey Goldberg guy, he's a troublemaker. He's part of the deep state, okay? So, of course, he's reporting the story. So it's a way to attack the credibility of the story by trying to attack the credibility of the author in a way that has nothing to do with the story at all.
Minority leadership.
This was 5 hours ago? This shit fucking Reddit webpage, God.
One question.
Can you share how your information about war plans against the Houthis in Yemen was shared with a journalist in The Atlantic? And were those details classified?
Oh, this was yesterday.
You're talking about a deceitful and highly discredited
journalist,
so-called journalist, who's
there we go.
Made a profession of peddling hoaxes time and time again, to include the hoaxes of Russia, 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 or the fine people on both sides hoax, or suckers and losers hoax. So this is a guy that peddles in garbage. This is what he does. I would love to comment on the Houthi campaign because of the skill and courage of our troops. I've monitored it very closely from the beginning. And you see, we've been managing 4 years of deferred maintenance under the Trump administration. Our troops, our sailors were getting shot at as targets. Our ships couldn't sail through. And when they did shoot back, it was purely defensively or at shacks in Yemen. President Trump said, no more. We will reestablish deterrence. We will open freedom of navigation, and we will ultimately decimate the Houthis, which is exactly what we're doing as we speak from the beginning, overwhelmingly.
Why were those details shared on Signal, and how did you learn that a journalist was privy to the targets, the types of weapons used?
I've heard I was characterized. Nobody was texting war plans, and that's all I have to say about that. Thank you.
People do get on those lines, whether it's Signal or anything else, yeah. People do get on those lines, whether it's Signal or anything else, yeah.
I wonder what he was referring to there. People can randomly pick up secured lines to listen. That should never be the case, but okay. But I don't know what he was
as a result of this. Well, I mean, look, we look at everything, and they've made a big deal out of this because we've had 2 perfect months. We are bringing in business. We have another one.
Do $500 billion. Talk about another investment. Another company has just said they're investing so much.
One announced tomorrow, a big one, very big, like in the history of our country, nobody's ever seen anything
It's trillions.
like it. And I think probably a lot of people are saying they started by saying it was the greatest first month that a president has ever had. And
who the fuck? Who the fuck is saying this?
I think that's true. And now they say it's the best second month, and they had to find something. And this certainly will look at this. But the main thing was nothing happened. The attack was totally successful. It was, I guess, from what I understand, took place during, and it wasn't classified information. So this was not classified. Now, if it's classified information, it's probably a little bit different. But people do get on those lines, whether it's Signal or...
Publisher of the dossier. Who the fuck is this loser? I might even be able to link this tweet. If I was added to a Signal chat with our top intel and defense officials, first thing I would do is get on my knees and slurp, 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 and tell them slurp, slurp, slurp. I would then leave the chat after they'd each had their turn with my boyish asshole. Jeffrey Goldberg was lurking intentionally and didn't even slurp, I bet. It's beyond despicable. I would have shut it with my knee pads. Also, this should be a nonstop talking point. Once we're through with this administration, you need to ask people. Every journalist should be, first of all, no conservative should just be allowed near media ever. Anybody that was part of this bullshit should just be banned from all fucking media, okay? But the question should be, all right, we had 4 years of Trump, then we had 4 years of Biden, then we had 4 more years of Trump. You had at least 8 years. Where is the deep state? We talked about the deep state the whole time. Who was it? Give me one concrete example of the deep state, because you had 8 years in office to investigate from top to bottom all this impropriety. Where is it? Who is it? How is it? Where? Who? What? Where? When? Why is it? 8 years in office. Okay, let's do this real fast. Good luck. Cyber Awareness Challenge 2025. Oh, wait, I thought this was about classified information. What the fuck is this about? To meet technical functionality requirements, this awareness product was developed to function with Windows and Mac operating systems. It's also tested for compatibility, testing support for... Oh, wait, what is this? It's just... Oh, I thought it was going to be like a quiz that we could do. Never mind.
Welcome to the Cyber Awareness Challenge.
Why is it so loud?
From the keyboard net for audio...
Okay, it's too loud. I don't care.